Windows 11 now supports passkeys in a native experience, right? Starting in Windows 11 version 22H2.
Yeah.
But passkeys are supported now in every supported version of Windows, at least according to
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Right?
Yeah. It does say applies to Windows 11, applies to Windows 10, which is this fun kind of conundrum because it's like, but which Windows 10? Because I thought you just killed some of them, right? So here it supports them all that are supported, and there's some like licensing requirements, and these fun licensing requirements basically say if license equal yes, you get passkey. It's basically supported everywhere.
And I think the important story is the vast majority of people will just automatically have access to this.
Yeah. But maybe let's back up a little bit and let's talk about what is a passkey. Like if you don't know what a passkey is, it's a passwordless, so no password way of authenticating. And cool things about passkeys is they automatically count as multi-factor authentication because it's something you have, the passkey, and something you are, like biometrics, or something you know, like a PIN. So from like a user, like a use case experience, it feels very much as like single auth, even though it is multi-factor auth. It's very fast, it's very efficient, and it's like wildly more secure.
Yeah, it does feel weird though, because like if it's counting as multi-factor authentication, if somebody were to like chop your finger off, authenticate with your laptop using your finger or whatever, it's still just the one authentication, right?
Yes. If someone
comes
comes
filling
and
it in
takes,
for you,
if they come and they take your laptop and they take your finger, sure,
but
okay,
I'll
you got bigger problems.
Yeah,
you got bigger problems.
You definitely do. But I mean, that's kind of like help desk people everywhere rejoice, right? Because authentication might get easier for people. Might
it maybe
right.
But it does introduce like some new like security concerns on the physical security side, right? Because now you're like leaving things around. Or, like you still have multi-factor, like you may leave like a little FIDO key around, but you still maybe have to touch it with a fingerprint.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have to unlock it with your face. And that's really what people want, right? That's the experience they want with passkeys. They don't want the experience with a passkey that is like type in a password, go to an authenticator app, or like do these multiple things, which is where like things kind of diverge in Windows land a little bit. If you're in like the Mac OS space and you're using native Mac OS passkeys, it just kind of works. In Windows, there's a little bit more that goes into it.
Yeah.
So let's maybe like talk about what like a passkey setup flow might look like, right? So what it generally looks like is you go open a website or an app that supports a passkey. You are prompted with, hey, how do you want to do this? You select it, you run through everything, and then you get to this point where there's a gotcha, right? When you say, I want to store the passkey on this Windows device and click next, you are then prompted with a Windows Hello verification method. So you have to then have Windows Hello, which is a bigger thing than what it looks like on the surface.
Yeah.
So non-Azure registered or non-intra-registered devices, like just a local device, you can use Windows Hello right out of the box.
Yeah.
But if
and
you're
that's
registered,
been for a while.
Yeah, you have to do Windows Hello for business. And we'll get to that bit in just a second. So let's keep that in the back of our mind that if we want to use a passkey with biometrics on a Windows device, you need Windows Hello configured.
Yep.
So let's just put a pin in that. Okay, let's move on to where passkeys work, right? Because they don't necessarily work everywhere. So Microsoft apps without an auth broker will work on Windows. They'll work on Mac OS and iOS pretty much across the board. But if you've got green bubbles, if you're an Android user, I'm sorry. Microsoft said, the only place it's going to work without an authentication broker is remote desktop and the Windows app.
Why do you think that is?
I actually don't know.
I wonder if do you think it's because of maybe like looser security restrictions as far as like apps and stuff like that go on the devices?
I don't know if it's that. I don't know if there's just so many more flavors of Android that it's harder to like control.
Yeah.
Whereas with like iOS, you've got one or two supported versions at a time.
Yeah.
so that you've got a little tighter control on that.
So unfortunately, if you've got green text bubbles, you've got a lot of red X's right here.
Yeah, you sure do. Okay, so now we know what passkeys are, how they work, but we've got this big nasty prerequisite.
Yeah.
To really use it with biometrics in a business sense, and that's Windows Hello for Business. So we're going to walk through, there's a fancy guide that's in the bonus content, and it's like, hey, how to plan a Windows Hello for Business deployment. And it's this entire article that Microsoft has put out. Excuse me. So we're going to walk through it in these different deployment options and models, and we'll pick the ones that make the most sense for you and just kind of file these away in your brain because it'll make sense in the end, I promise. So there's deployment models, there's cloud only, there's hybrid, and then there's on-prem for Windows Hello for Business. So this follows the same Windows, Entra, everything. Are you cloud only? Are you hybrid? Or are you on-prem? A big gotcha here, if you deploy as on-prem, then you cannot switch to hybrid. It's an entirely new redeployment.
You have to completely reset it up at that point. If you start out as on-prem and you decide, oh, you know what, we're moving to the cloud, you've got to just start over.
Yeah, 100%. Like you can't switch back. So most people are going to fall into the hybrid or cloud only. They call out a new term here called a red forest. I'd actually never heard of that before. So that's kind of new. Then based off of your deployment type, you come to the different trust types that are available. There's cloud Kerberos, there's key and certificates. The one thing to call out here, if you choose key or certificate to use like smart cards, then you're introducing PKI into your environment.
Yeah.
Not as painful as it used to be, but still hurts. Cloud Kerberos is really cool. It kind of changes where ticket granting tickets come from, and it does not require certificate authorities that you manage or PKI that you manage. So keep that in mind again.
Most people are going to want to look into that first.
Yes.
Unless they have to go something with like a certificate.
And Cloud Kerberos is the recommended deployment type.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Excuse me. Moving on to like the PKI requirements, like we just covered here. There's the different ones available. Really only dive into these if you need to and you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally, device registration. Devices have to be registered to Entra, whether it's a join or a register completely. It has to be one of the two for this to work.
Gotcha.
All right. That was a ton of information we covered. Hopefully you remembered your choices. Here's why it's important to remember your choices. In the bonus content here, we've got this.
Wizards.
And it's a wizard. It is a new wizard link that will guide you through this and setting it all up. So this makes the Windows Hello for Business a lot easier to set up and to run through. And here's the whole reason why. Do you know which phishing resistant passwordless authentication you want to use? Yes. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, or whatever your choices are. You click next, and then it guides you through where to go set this all up.
Gotcha.
From start to finish. You don't have to navigate all of the 1,500 different places in Entra ID. You don't have to try and navigate through the Graph API. You can just run through the wizard, and this one actually does a pretty darn good job.
Which, I mean, we kind of saw that, this was probably a couple months ago, but you and Tara were showing off when we were setting up that new instance of like, you were setting up a new organization basically from scratch, in the cloud. Actually, I think you did hybrid. And I know you were like, DNS, all this other stuff. And you went through one of the wizards and you were surprised at like how well it worked in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is one of those wizards where it's like just working.
Yeah. Good job, Microsoft.
Yeah. It's really wild. I was surprised. But yeah, that's it for Passkeys. Hopefully this gets people like on the journey of getting started there. Again, you don't need Windows Hello for Business to use Passkeys. But if you want to use the biometric features of the like what you are instead of what you know, then you do need to set it up.
Yeah, and I have a sysadmin buddy of mine in Texas, and he recently, this was like 3 weeks ago, he's like, we just rolled out Windows Hello for Business. he was just like absolute game changer.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
dude, it just, and it got me thinking. I'm like, is this the evolution? Is this like kind of the end point? Because authentication has been changing, slowly over years, right? With passwords and SSO and 2FA or MFA, and now we're onto like passkeys and stuff. It's like, is this the final form of authentication, or do we have somewhere still to go?
I won't say it's final form, and it is somewhat flawed in the fact that if like you log into multiple devices, it can be tricky unless you're storing passkeys on like something that you always have with you. But if you have like multiple computers, it can get tricky. You can have multiple passkeys for the same account for the same service. That is possible too.
Oh, it does that. I don't want to think about that.
So like they add some additional complexity, but yeah, it does make it a lot easier for the end user. If you don't remember stuff, you're not asking people to reset passwords. You don't have password policies. Like passwordless is really just a really good way to do this.
Yeah.
And public private key cryptography using to secure it, that has just been shown like that is the way to do it.
Yeah.
If you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that caveat if you did it right.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks for watching this segment from PDQ Live. If you like this, you'll love the full show. Check it out every Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain. Oh, and like and subscribe, please.